Good evening. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's 6:35, November 13th, 2019. We'll call the meeting of the Urban Design Commission to order. May we have a roll call?
Nicole Ream.
Here.
Monica Sullivan.
Here.
Barbara Cash. Edith McKee.
Here.
Carla Baxley.
Here.
Jerry Winchester and Art Clark are excused. Melissa Morris may still show up. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item B, the minutes. May we have a motion to approve the minutes of September 11th? We have a motion from Commissioner McKee and a second from Commissioner Baxley. Are there any objections or corrections to the minutes being approved? I have a correction then. I have was on page 5 of the minutes. It's minor grammatical. Bottom of the page. For last paragraph on page 5, first sentence, I believe there's some extraneous language that needs to be removed. Commissioner Morse finds that AMC 21.030.240 design variant standards, comma, through space G, I believe just needs to be eliminated from that sentence. Oh, is it? It doesn't read grammatically. So if we can just make adjustments to that. Does anybody have any objections to that? Is anyone else have any other comments to the minutes? Okay. Do we need an amendment, a motion? Okay. Okay, we'll make those changes and amend the minutes. Moving on to special order of business. Are there any disclosures? Commissioner Cash?
Yes, I was excused for the last meeting and therefore will not be voting on the resolutions tonight.
Okay, thank you for that. Are there any others? Seeing no other disclosures, we also have an informational item on the agenda. Introduction and background on the Municipal Public Art Program.
Hello.
If you could please state your name and spell it for the record.
Gideon Geralt, spell it. Gideon
Thank you.
I'm the curator of public art for the municipality of Anchorage. And I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time here, but I did want to introduce myself. Just starting the program a little over 4 months ago, and we have a little bit of overlap in my program operation, so I wanted to fill you guys in. For those of you who aren't familiar, make connections and say hello, and also update you. Just recently, last month, October 22nd, had updates to the code that govern the program. So just give you a quick update on that program. And I'm trying to make this really brief for you, to not take up too much time, so please do ask questions if I'm too brief. So just to begin with, what happens with the public art program when we form a jury to select artwork. I guess I should give back up just a second. The 1% for public art program is based on construction, new construction from within the municipality. 1% of construction goes towards public art. There's a little bit of back and forth as to the actual 1%. It's construction, design and construction, leaving out a few other items. Once we are in the process of selecting artwork, we have a jury that selects an artist and selects the artwork. Once that artwork and the artist and artwork has been selected by the jury, that information is translated to a number of bodies before it is finally officially approved. Urban Design Commission is one of those bodies. So just briefly reading from the procedure here, a user department or Anchorage School District or the Urban Design Commission may object to the selection of a particular piece of artwork for technical reasons related to maintenance or safety by filing that objection with the Public Art Committee. The Public Art Committee is the body that oversees the public art program and is the decision-making authority. So if they were, after providing the information to the Urban Design Commission on the selection of artwork, you could potentially reject it on the basis of safety concerns. That's one area of overlap. Another being essentially, let's see, the Urban Design Commission, together with the Municipal Arts Advisory Commission, can work together to recommend to the Assembly Chambers administrative regulations setting forth the operation of the program. That, however, just a little background, was consolidated as part of the recent code update. So the code revisions brought together both the code and the regulations and consolidated into one location, just being the code. We recognized there was a little bit of a miscommunication, misunderstanding that the actual regulations actually existed. So we figured we'd consolidate things into one place. So while you and the Municipal Arts Advisory Commission have opportunity to develop regulation, it's something to work through. We would prefer to keep it consolidated into code for the sake of simplicity. One last point there is that the Public Art Committee can invite members of the Urban Design Commission. Currently, the positions are all filled, but if there's anybody that's interested in participating in the Public Art Committee, the body that oversees the public art program in the future, I would be more than happy to take information and contact anybody in the future. All right. Oh, one last additional point is the annual report to be provided to this body as well on the program. So I have one of those here with these materials. I imagine I can leave with you gentlemen, along with a few cards for information as well. So a few points on the code revisions that would just happened this last month, October 22nd. The main points were updating to remove outdated procedures, particularly referring to historical commissions that no longer exist, and placing decision-making authority over the municipal program in the museum's hands, remnant from the 1% program being located in the museum. Another being to create a funding source for conservation. The program has a modest operating budget to support the entire program, which is predominantly used to conserve and maintain the entire collection. The municipality has over 500 works of art, many that were made in the 80s. There's a great deal of conservation needed, and the budget really only allows for a small handful of high-priority pieces that were damaged or otherwise in serious need of care each year. So the new code revisions actually create a funding source for conservation, which is great. Be able to maintain and take care of the assets of the community. And then the last is to expand the program to include roadway projects like the recent Spenard Road Public Art Project, and to include short-term, ephemeral, time-based, and performative artwork. These types of works, while they are not permanent, can be catalysts for community engagement, increased opportunity for organizational collaboration and impact, and are often more affordable, which increases opportunities for artists, particularly at the local level, which is a great response to the desire and need for including more local artists in the commission process. I was hoping to give to you as well the updated code version. It has not yet been published yet, but I do have here the draft copy. I didn't want to send it in advance just because with all of the underlining and the special notes, it can be a little bit confusing, but I will still leave it for you for the time being here for your records. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to go into greater detail for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to continue on here. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and due to the abstaining of voting on the resolutions from one of our commissioners tonight, we are short-boarded. That puts us below quorum, so we will not be able to move to approve the consent agenda this evening, and it's my understanding that we will need to move these two resolutions to January. The January meeting, because there is no meeting in December. So state that for the record. So moving on down the agenda here, we are scooting right along to the public hearings. So as I just stated, we are short-boarded this evening. And that does mean that we have 5 members and we need a majority vote. So I'm not sure how controversial the items we have on here, but if there's a petitioner up here that would like to move their hearing. I thought you told me not to read that first. Okay. All right, I will read you the actual official process for the postponement before you come up here and state whether or not you want to postpone if you are a petitioner this evening. So when there is a 5-member board, a postponement is offered and agreed to by the petitioner. They will be moved to the next regular agenda. This should occur within 30 days, which does not require renoticing the case. But we aren't having a meeting in 30 days. Okay. If the petitioner is willing to postpone but unable to attend the next available meeting within 30 days, the petitioner has a one-time only option to choose the next date that he or she can attend at no extra fee. When a postponement is requested by the petitioner, there is a rescheduling fee. AMCR 21.20.007.a is where you can find that, and a new public hearing date shall be determined by the Planning Department. This will put their case in the next available cutoff date queue as if they were submitting their case for the first time. So just to clarify, this does say 30 days. We do not have a quorum for a meeting in December, so that is why we are postponing to January. So that 30 days is obviously extended to the January meeting for the one time. So with that being said, is there any petitioner in here for the public hearing that would like to postpone? If you would like to postpone, please come forward. Okay. Looks like So now we're going to go ahead and with the public hearings. I'm going to read the procedure by which the public may speak to the Urban Design Commission. The procedure by which the public may speak to the Urban Design Commission at its meeting is 1. After the staff presentation is completed on public hearing items, the chair will ask for public testimony on the issue. Number 2, persons who wish to testify will follow the time limits established in the Urban Design Commission Rules of Procedure. A, petitioners, including all of his or her representatives, are given 10 minutes. Rebuttal by the petitioner may be allowed when time has been reserved. B, representatives of groups such as community councils, PTAs, etc., are given 5 minutes. And C, individuals are given 3 minutes. Number 3, when your testimony is complete, you may be asked questions by the commission. You may only testify once on any issue unless questioned by the commission. 4, an individual may have appeal rights relating to any action the Urban Design Commission takes, except commission recommendations to the Assembly, which are not appealable. Appeals must be filed with the clerk's office within 20 days after approval by the Urban Design Commission of the resolution, which is the commission's final decision. A fee for the appeal is required at the time of filing. So that being said, the first case before us is case 2019-0134. The petitioner is Thomas Barter. May we have the staff's presentation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The petitioner is applying for a variance from AMC 2107.080H3 to allow a fence taller than allowed by code in the secondary front setback on the south property boundary. Title 21 limits a fence to 4 feet in height when the fence is within the front setbacks. The fence will not be in the clear vision triangle. The request is being sought as the owner received approval from his homeowners association and constructed a 6-foot wood fence along a portion of Easter Island Circle. Easter Island Circle is considered a secondary front yard. The lot has frontages on both Chiniac Bay Drive and Easter Island Circle. Chiniac Bay Drive is considered the primary front with a 20-foot setback, and Easter Island Circle is considered the secondary with a 10-foot setback. If granted, the variance will allow for a fence to be 6 feet tall in the second front setback along that portion of Easter Island Circle. The Planning Department mailed a total of 166 public hearing notices in the matter of the findings for approval criteria. Staff finds that condition A is met. The proposed alternative achieves the intent of the subject design standard. There is no fire separation or life safety issue, and approval from the Resolution Point Homeowners Association has been received. The desire for a 6-foot fence is related to perceived privacy, security, and safety issues. Standard B has been met. This parcel is classified as single-family and two-family in the 2040 Anchorage Land Use Plan. The granting of this variance will not change the classification of this parcel in the comp plan, but is rather reinforcing the intent of single-family districts. A fence is a common amenity in a residential neighborhood. In the matters of subject standard C, the proposed variance will benefit the community that is equivalent to or better than the compliance with subject standard. The property takes access from Easter Island Circle, which is considered the secondary front setback. The portion of the property fence functions essentially as the home's backyard. In the matter of standard D has been met. The granting of this variance will not adversely affect the use of adjacent property. As stated, there is no structure separation violations. Drainage and runoff do not appear to be an issue. Clear vision triangles are not affected, and there would be no public benefit to denying the variance where there is no practical effect to be gained. The location and height of the fence is in character with the neighborhood. Standard E has been met. It will not change the character of the R1 zoning district. Other properties in the area could enjoy fences up to 8 feet tall, which would be approved administratively through the planning director. This is not case for this subject property, as it is a corner lot and takes access from the secondary front setback. A decorative fence does not change the character of the zoning district. Standard F has been met. The granting of this variance would not restrict or impede ADA accessibility. Standard G has been found to be met. Traffic engineering does not object to the granting of the variance, and with a corner lot arrangement, the home's side yard essentially functions as the backyard, and a 6-foot fence protects the property owner from vehicles, allows for a secure area for animals, as well as noise and headlight glare. Standard H has been met. The variance does not involve a sign. So the department finds that all 8 standards have been substantially met, and therefore we recommend approval of the variance, subject to the conditions 1 and 2 found on page 6 and 7 of the staff packet. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and the petitioner is here as well tonight.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff? Seeing no questions of staff, will the petitioner please come forward? And please state and spell your name for the record.
Okay.
And if you would like to reserve any time for rebuttal.
Hi, my name is Thomas Barter. Thomas Barter, B-A-R-T-E-R, homeowner, 4125 Easter Island Circle.
Did you want to reserve any time for rebuttal?
No.
Okay. Proceed.
I accept his findings on everything. It looks like we've put a lot of time and effort to make the neighborhood better, and most all of our neighbors have told us that we've done a great job with what we've been doing, and they're happy with the work that we've done. So I think it's should be approved.
Excellent. Is that's all you had? Okay. Are there any questions? So seeing that there are no questions.
I read it, sorry.
Commissioner Sullivan.
Sorry. I think the package talks about a letter that was against, they received one letter that they were against the fence. Do we know what it said, that letter, or why they were against?
No, I don't. I just found out who that neighbor is just recently, and they live basically across the street. They don't drive on that road, so I'm not quite sure what their reasoning is. Most all the neighbors I've talked to, the ones that are right adjacent to us, they've given me approval. I have additional neighbors that told me they're fine with it. My neighbor across the street, he's a licensed architect also, so he has no problems with it. So I don't know. They never came talk to me or voiced their opinion to me directly.
Just to clarify, this is page 29 of the staff packet.
It is there. Oh. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we're good?
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, we will go ahead and open this to public testimony. Is there anyone who wishes to come up and testify? Okay. Assuming the petitioner does not need a rebuttal, and there are no more questions for staff or the petitioner, we will move on to make a motion. Oh, the public hearing is closed. My apologies. The public hearing is now closed. May we have a motion? We have a motion from Commissioner McKee and a second from Commissioner Baxley. Commissioner McKee, would you please state your motion?
This is my first time doing this, so I might need a little assistance. Okay. So,
Just make.
okay. So I move to support a. Okay. So I move to approve a variance from AMC 21.07.08OH.3 to allow a fence taller than allowed by code in the secondary front setback on the south property boundary. Title 21 limits the fence to 4 feet in height when the fence is within the front setbacks. I'm motioning to approve the variance because all 8 standards are met, and the fence is an improvement to the residents.
You may want to go ahead and add the department's recommendation conditions.
Okay. Okay.
Subject to.
Subject to conditions 1 and 2 in the department's recommendations.
Thank you. Okay. Does Commissioner Baxley, do you wish to speak to your second?
Yes, I too would also like to move to, I second the motion to move to approve the request for design variance to allow the fence to exceed a maximum height requirement. And I approve this motion because staff has determined that all standards are met in the packet on pages 3 through 7 of the staff analysis packet. To me, the side yard essentially functions as a backyard. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other commissioner that wishes to speak to the motion or add findings?
I did.
Commissioner Cash.
Thank you. As far as findings of fact, I believe that Standard A is met. The taller fence will provide privacy, security, and safety to the homeowner. With regard to Standard B, it is met. This variance will reinforce the intent of the single-family districts. It supports the goals and objectives of the Anchorage 2040 Land Use Plan to maintain health and safety for residents. Standard C is met. The variance is in alignment with the development of the community and will provide a functional, safe, and enjoyable backyard. Standard D is met. Granting the variance will not adversely affect adjacent properties. The taller fence will maintain clear vision triangles and is in character with the neighborhood. Standard E is met. This is a dimensional variance and will not change the R1 district character. Standard F is met. There is no impact to ADA accessibility. Standard G is met. It is without any adverse effect on public or private health, safety, or welfare. And Standard H is met. There's no sign involved.
Thank you, Commissioner Cash. Commissioner Sullivan?
I would just like to comment. I went back to the letter, and I think what they didn't want is to see more chain link fence, which I understand that. So I'm thinking if it's privacy, you're not building chain link. So I think we are good.
Thank you. So I guess what we need to do now is go ahead and move to have a vote to approve the motion on the floor. The motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to the second case this evening, case 2019-0141. The petitioner is the Municipality of Anchorage Solid Waste Services. May we have the staff's presentation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The petitioner is applying for a variance from Anchorage Municipal Code Title 21, Chapter 5, subsection 060E9BI to allow a solid waste and recycling transfer facility to be located no less than 140 feet from a residential zoning district. The proposed site will house the brand-new central transfer station for municipal solid waste services. The current transfer station does not have the capacity nor the capabilities to efficiently process the variety of materials that are present in today's waste stream. The additional capacity and capability of this new facility will allow for increased waste diversion from the Anchorage landfill. According to the information provided by the applicant, the Anchorage landfill will be at capacity within 40 years, with no clear alternative site identified. This new facility will extend the usable life of the Anchorage landfill because it will allow for additional methods of waste processing, which will assist in diverting waste away from the Anchorage landfill. The applicant is still in the process of finalizing their site plan layout. Because of this, it is best that the variance request be measured from the nearest property line of the proposed site to the nearest residential district boundary, rather than a tentative location for a proposed structure within the petition site. This will allow for the applicant maximum flexibility to fully utilize the petition site. The Planning Department has reviewed the application and presents the following findings. For Standard A, we find that the standard is generally met. The property boundaries of the petition site and those within the nearby residential district are separated by 300 feet of right-of-way for the Seward Highway. The Seward Highway is slightly elevated. It's approximately 10 to 25 feet higher when compared to the elevation of the petition site. This provides a visual and noise barrier from the petition site when viewing it and listening from the nearby R3 zone lot to the east. The Seward Highway is used by several thousand vehicles daily and is likely more impactful to surrounding residences than the proposed solid waste and recycling transfer facility, which will be mostly an enclosed facility. Additionally, the R3 lot to the east is currently being used as a snow disposal site and does not contain a residential dwelling. This does not mean that the site won't be developed with residences in the future, but if the site is developed with residences, they will be doing so with full awareness of the presence of the solid waste and recycling transfer facility. Standard B is met. The parcel is classified as light industrial commercial in the Anchorage 2040 land use plan map, and the granting of this variance will not change the classification of this parcel in the comprehensive plan. This property will continue to be used as an industrial use for the foreseeable future, and the following goals of the Anchorage 2040 land use plan apply to this case. That'd be Goal 2, infill and redevelopment, Goal 7, compatible land use, and Goal 9, industrial land. For Standard C, the standard is met. Solid waste and recycling transfer facilities provide a critical service to all residents of the municipality. They assist in ensuring an orderly collection and disposal of both hazardous and non-hazardous household, commercial, and industrial refuse. Negative impacts on their ability to efficiently provide services could result in adverse impacts to the community due to a loss of a responsible option for refuse and junk disposal. Granting this variance will allow for the construction of a brand new transfer facility that will help divert excess refuse from the landfill, thus extending the useful life of the landfill and reducing disposal rates and keeping them affordable. Standard D, the standard is met. This new facility is unlikely to adversely affect the use of adjacent property. All adjacent property, with the exception of an R3 district to the east, is zoned I1, which is light industrial, which permits a variety of industrial and commercial uses. The proposed facility will be located due south of the existing facility, which has served as the central transfer facility since the 1970s. Residents of Anchorage have come to know this location well, and the orderly redevelopment of a new transfer facility to the south of the existing one is unlikely to cause any adverse impacts to adjacent property. The majority of material processing will take place within a new enclosed facility, which will help mitigate off-site odor and noise migration. Hours of operation will be within a normal weekday and weekend schedule. Standard E is met. This variance will not change the character of the I-1 district where this project is located, nor will it permit a use not otherwise permitted in the district. Additionally, a solid waste and recycling transfer facility is permitted within the I-1 district subject to the approval of a conditional use permit. The petitioner will have to obtain this additional approval prior to beginning operations. And standard F, the standard is met. The granting of this variance will not restrict or impede ADA accessibility or reasonable accommodation. Compliant ADA parking spaces and accessible routes will be provided at the time the property is developed. Standard G, standard is met. Granting of this variance will not adversely affect the health, safety, and welfare of the people in the municipality. This new facility will help improve the health, safety, and welfare of the municipality. The development of this new facility will enhance the capabilities of solid waste services to process a variety of additional materials, as well as more efficiently process their daily collections. Without these services, environmental health and sanitary conditions within the municipality could degrade due to the improper disposal of refuse and junk by residents and businesses. Negative effects to the health and safety of residents could result from a significant impact to solid waste services operations. And standard H, the standard is met simply because the standard does not apply. It does not involve a sign. So Anchorage Municipal Code requires that the variance requests substantially meet all 8 of the design variance standards in order for the variance to be granted. The department finds that all 8 standards are substantially met, therefore recommends approval of the variance subject to conditions 1 and 2 on page 8 of the staff report. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the petitioner is present tonight to answer any questions you may have of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff? I have one. Just noting on page 8 at the bottom, there is an advisory comment that wasn't addressed, that you didn't speak to, but that's there. This is something that the petitioner will need to work through with the municipality's watershed department and with the Corps of Engineers. So it's not in our purview. Is that, just want to make that clarification?
Madam Chair, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make that clear. Okay, if there are no questions of staff, will the petitioner please come forward? You know how to do it. Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Hi, my name is Laquita Chmielowski, Chmielowski. I'm the Land Use Planning Manager with Dell, and I'm here tonight representing Solid Waste Services for this variance request. And I'd like to reserve any remaining time that I have for rebuttal. Tonight in the audience, I have representatives with Solid Waste Services, have Mike Rhodes and Susanna Caldwell, and I also have Chris Coleman, who's the project manager with Tetra Tech, who's leading the design team on this project. So I'd like to thank staff for all their efforts in this variance request and working with us. It's truly the first step in constructing this facility, and we take no exceptions to the conditions as they're presented in staff packet. I'd also like to note that since this is a critical piece of infrastructure, we have that is used by the entire community. We've been encouraging public involvement throughout. Not only did we have the required community meeting, but we've been giving monthly updates to the Taku Campbell and Abbott Loop Community Council and requesting their input on the project. And I think that our efforts are evident in the letter that you received tonight that had 31 residents that are in support of the project and the variance request. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the petitioner? You weren't there a moment ago. Commissioner Cash.
I can appear and disappear like that. Well, thank you, Chair, and thank you for your presentation. I appreciate very much all of the signatures from the having those additional signatures tonight. That's very meaningful. I do want to ask a question regarding the one letter of concern, and it's mostly about truck traffic. And I know you didn't have a chance to look at this before, perhaps, but is there something that you can address with regard, just for my information?
Sure. So I did actually look at where that property was located, and it's on the east side of the highway, adjacent to the snow storage facility. And so as part of this project, as we move forward, we're doing a traffic impact analysis that'll look at truck traffic, although the patterns of traffic won't change significantly, and the hours of operation are going to remain the same as they are today. And I guess one of the benefits of the new facility is that right now the facility is open to everything, and the new facility will be enclosed, so that'll help mitigate noise.
So you'll be studying the traffic?
Correct.
More, the analysis.
Yeah, so that traffic impact analysis will be reviewed and approved through the municipality as well as DOT.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner McKee.
Hi, thank you. So there is a second letter in this other packet from somebody that says that they're concerned also with having noise abatement included in this proposal, that they can hear the backup alarms on equipment using the same site, and this would be much closer to our home of 46 years.
So I think that might have been the same letter.
Different letter.
Okay, sorry. So, sorry, that was the property that I was speaking to. So that property is located on the east side of the highway, adjacent to the snow storage facility. So again, we'll be looking at traffic patterns, we'll be looking at, and the building will be enclosed, so that's in itself going to help mitigate noise. And then the highway, as staff indicated, it does have an elevation difference of 10 to 25 feet. And there's, I think, over 5,000 vehicles per day that travel on the highway. So that also serves as a noise to help mitigate the noise from the facility.
Commissioner Cash.
Yeah, I have one follow-up question for you on that. And just to clarify, the building is enclosed, intended to be enclosed, being designed as an enclosed structure. And does that also mean that the bays that the trucks are going to back into, that whole area is enclosed?
Correct.
So we will have much, the sound will be much reduced as a result?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Just thanks for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions of the petitioner? Commissioner Baxley.
How much longer will this transfer station, as far as design life, how many years will this give Anchorage for use, since the old one's sort of running out of time?
Yeah, so what the transfer facility does is provide an opportunity to divert material, like anything that can be recycled or reused, from going to the landfill. So it actually extends the life of the landfill. And right now in their existing facility, they don't have room to explore other recycling options or reuse options. So this new facility gives them the ability to start looking at what those future recycling and reuse options might be. So,
Okay.
So anything that they do just continues to extend the life of the landfill.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Okay. We will now open the hearing to public testimony. Is there anyone who wishes to testify? So many members of the audience. Nobody wants to testify. Okay, so petitioner does not wish to come up for rebuttal. Are there any other questions from the petitioner or from staff? For staff. Oh, Commissioner McKee.
Sorry, I have a question. So there's this letter that was sent in that has all of these people listed, but these people didn't sign into the public open house. So I'm just confused. Like, were they individually contacted and they all agreed to sign this? Was there another open house and they just didn't sign in, or?
So it's my understanding that they were contacted to sign that letter, separate from any open house or meeting that we attended.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Going once? Okay. It doesn't appear that we have any more questions for staff or the petitioner, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And may we have a motion? We have a motion from Commissioner Cash and a second from Commissioner Baxley. Commissioner Cash, would you please state your motion?
Yes, I move in case 2019-0141. Let me get it in front of me. Sorry. To grant approval for a request for variance from AMC 21.05.060E.9.B.I to allow a solid waste and recycle transfer facility to be located no less than 140 feet from a residential zoning district as measured from the nearest property line to the nearest residential zoning district, which is located east of the petition site. Subject to staff recommendations 1 and 2. What page is that? Sorry, page number 8. Okay. It is 1 and 2 on page 8 of the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Cash. Commissioner Baxley, would you care to speak to your second?
I would like to second the motion to approve case 2019-0141 to approve the petitioner's request for design variance from AMC Title 21, Section 21.05.060E.9.B.I, which requires that the solid waste transfer facility not be within 500 feet from any academic school, hospital, or residential zoning district. And I also approve this motion because of staff's findings in the staff analysis packet. And with their findings, they have found that all 8 standards are substantially met. They recommended approval of the variance subject to the following conditions. And the 8 standards that were met, under approval criteria 21.03.240G, letters A through H, and they're subject to the following conditions, number 1 and 2. Number 1 being variance from AMC 21.05.060E.9BI to allow a solid waste and recycling transfer facility to be located no less than 140 feet from a residential zoning district as measured from the nearest property line to the nearest residential zoning district, which is located east of the petition site, as specified in the application narrative and shown in the submitted draft site plans. And number 2, prior to this variance becoming effective, a notice of zoning action shall be filed with the State of Alaska District Recorder's Office, including a copy of the resolution of approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Baxley. We did get a little bit out of order there. We need to go ahead and make sure that Commissioner Cash does, in fact, intend to support her motion to approve this case.
Yes, I do, and I thought I was coming back to that, so.
Yes,
Thank you
we
for
should
that.
have stated that to begin with. So if you want to speak to your motion, that would be now.
Okay, excellent. I will do my best.
Thank you.
All right. I do plan to support this motion. And for Standard A, the combination of the building siting and the natural buffer of the elevated Seward Highway will provide the buffer required to create a better separation than a 500-foot separation on flat land. So it's an improved condition as a result of this variance. And as regarding Standard B, which is also met, this use supports the industrial zone land for industrial purposes, and the new site meets the policies outlined in the 2040 land use plan. Standard C is met. This new facility will grow opportunities for recycling and for reusable materials to be diverted from the landfill, significantly increasing the life of the landfill. Standard D is met due to, let's see, it's actually the new facility will be located slightly further west than the existing facility, providing for a greater buffer from the residential district. And again, the elevated new Seward Highway will become a visual and noise buffer. So for those reasons, and the fact that the existing facility is already in operation and adjacent to this new site, the granting of the variance will not adversely affect the uses in the area. As regarding to Standard E, the one residential zoned district to the east is separated by that new Seward Highway, and the proposed facility is in line with the surrounding uses. It will not change the character of the zoning district. In Standard F, which is met, the facility will be designed to be ADA compliant and support accessibility. Regarding Standard G, which is met, it will create a cleaner, more efficient, and safer facility that benefits everyone and will be fully enclosed, which is indeed better, cleaner, quieter, and safer. And Standard H, there is no sign, therefore this is also met.
Thank you. It looks like we do have some discussion from Commissioner McKee.
I just wanted to speak that I intend to also support the motion to approve, and I wanted to mention that under staff findings, item A, that the one residential area that is not yet developed, that is closest to the new proposed location, that if it were to be residentially developed, they would do so knowing full well that there's a transfer station close to their development site.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to? Commissioner Sullivan.
I just think it's a great project for the community, and I think the team and Solid Waste Services are doing a great job seeking input from the community. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other findings or comments, we can have a vote to approve the, there we go, variance. It passes. Thank you. Okay, we are through the public hearings and moving on to the rest of the agenda. It appears do we have any reports from the secretary? Are there any other comments from commissioners? Laquita? Would you like to have these back? No. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay, if there are no other comments from commissioners, then we are moving on to adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? I have a motion from Commissioner Cash and a second from Commissioner McKee. Thank you.